I just want you all to know, while dozens of new up-and-coming filmmakers have their interesting and fresh ideas rejected every single day, Minions 2 was given a budget of $85 million. Think about that. Minions: The Rise of Gru is directed by Kyle Balda and stars Steve Carell, Pierre Coffin, and Alan Arkin. When an 11-year-old Gru is kidnapped following his attempt to become the greatest supervillain in the world, the Minions must set out on a perilous cross-country adventure to save their mini-boss. As someone who has grown up with the Despicable Me movies, I can honestly say that they have gotten worse and worse with every single installment. The first Despicable Me movie is pretty good. It's nothing fantastic, but as a kid-friendly family movie, it's not half bad. Then we get to Despicable Me 2. Then Despicable Me 3. Then the Minions movie. And now we have the Minions: The Rise of Gru. And if you know anything about pop culture, you know the fame that is the characters of the Minions. The fact that these things got one standalone movie is already insane enough. The fact that they got a sequel, inexcusable. And big shock, it sucks. Okay, so before I gladly rip this movie to shreds, is there anything of value in the Minions: The Rise of Gru film? Well, honestly, the animation isn't half bad. It is very detailed in a surprising way, and it does have a good amount of fluid movement. It's bright and colorful and fast moving, so I'm pretty sure kids will like this movie fine, just as much as they liked the first Minions movie. In the same way that it's fast moving and colorful, so it's sort of like keys being dangled in your child's face. And to be fair, even though the comedy in this movie is every 45 minutes or so, there is a joke that does land in a weird way. You don't acknowledge a chuckle or even a laugh. You just sit there and go, yeah, that was kind of clever. I won't smile, but it was kind of clever compared to everything else. And speaking of everything else, okay, so let me calm down for a second. Let me talk about the comedy. The comedy in this movie is awful. It is annoying. It's not funny. And I hated it. You know why the jokes with the Minions suck already. They talk in a weird, fast-paced English-Spanish gibberish hybrid that has only gotten more and more annoying the more we've seen of them. And when these things have entire dialogues with each other, it's the comedic equivalent of nails on a chalkboard. But even if the written jokes suck, even though I'm pretty sure most of the script for the written jokes was just this is gibberish. Print it! The non-verbal slapstick jokes might actually be even worse. Slapstick only works when there's an element of misery involved. Whether it's the pain from the recipient or the confusion by the inflictor, there needs to be some sort of negativity seen through the character's expressions. However, when you have characters that are as invulnerably elastic as the Minions, and villains who are so blandly violent like the ones in this movie, you end up watching quote-unquote violence with no impact on the characters nor the audience. Not even the subplot with Gru is that interesting or funny, nor are the villains the Sinister Six or whatever they're calling themselves. I can't remember a single thing about them. I will give the first Minions movie credit. I can at least remember Scarlet Overkill and her motivation. These guys, I can't remember a single thing about them or why they want to do what they want to do. And in a franchise where we have seen shrink ray strong enough to shrink the moon itself and squid launchers, The orb, the stone, the jewel, whatever this MacGuffin is in this movie might be the most stupid because it is never fully explained what it really does, and yet is the whole plot surrounding this entire movie. And my final problem is, oddly enough, sort of a compliment, and that is this movie is horribly rushed. Now, to be fair, because this movie is so rushed, it is an easy breeze to get through compared to what the first Minions movie was. But at the same time, it doesn't feel so rushed because the story is simple. It feels like it's so rushed because the filmmakers themselves know that this movie is going to be awful and just want to get it done and over with as quickly as possible. And because of that, it feels like multiple different scenes of development are either cut or quickly skimmed over. At the end of the day, it's more a question of, would you rather go through torture that has at least some bit of memorabilia to it in that it offered something of development, or would you rather have something that goes through quick and painless, but at the end of the day feels extremely lazy? And at the end of the day, this movie didn't feel as much of a torture as the first Minions movie was, but it did feel even more lazy than the first. The animation is legitimately good, and there are a couple halfway decent jokes in the film, but for the most part, this movie just feels like a waste. It's the same problems that people have had with this franchise for years now. The Minions are annoying, the comedy sucks, the characters and the plot are bland, and while the rushed pacing makes the film feel easy to get through, you can't help but shake the feeling that it also makes the film feel lazy. In a year with such great animated kids movies like Turning Red, Lightyear, or even The Bad Guys, just brushing this movie aside and saying, oh, it's a kids movie, isn't an excuse. I'm going to give Minions: The Rise of Gru an F+. Well guys, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite animated movie? For me, I have to really think about it, but I think it is between Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, The Prince of Egypt, and The Lion King. I go through time and time again which of these three movies I like more, but at the end of the day, for the most part, it's sort of a tie between them. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best, and don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.